Hello friends, this is Niladri once again, and today we'll talk about another episodes on Jira. Today we'll primarily focus on the 4 topics that will be your queries, filters and results, how we can do it in Jira. Bulk update, if you have multiple user stories or multiple issues in Jira that you want to update in one go, how we can do that, and import and export. So let's begin with primarily first we'll try to understand how exactly it's happened, and then we'll move to our Jira software and practice that so that you can get a better feeling. Let's begin. So when we talk about issues and filter, so this is very important for understanding how you can play with or manipulate multiple data in one go, whether you are doing bulk update or import or export or using filters with different result sets. It's very important in Jira. You first need to work with the filters. That's your primary steps or the beginning steps. So first we'll try to find out how we can make filters, and there is a tip I'll tell you where you can actually find out if you are new to JQL, how you can understand how to create the JQL or what exactly the field name will be, what exactly the values of that particular field. For an example, if you are writing a query where you want to have some sprint name, how Jira represents or understand and how you can have that number. That's a little interesting. We'll look into that in our demonstrations once we'll be doing that. Okay, so what we'll be covering for these issues and filter topics right now is search for issues, save your searches, share your search result. Whenever you have shared your search results, then other members of your Jira instance can able to see that search results. We'll look into that, how we can share it and how we will be able to get it visualized. Then email the search result. You can email the search result and use search result in dashboards and reports. We can create some dashboards and reports where I'll show you how those search results actually come to your dashboard, because in your dashboard you need to give a data source, and that data source is required some filters or as a project or as a board. So we can set our data by giving some filters or queries to ask the dashboard populate the report or populate the data or populate the graph based on the results from that particular filter. We'll look into that, how that works. And search and execute bulk update. So if you have multiple stories or multiple issues, you want to make some bulk update, we can do that. And search and export also. This is whatever we'll be covering. So there are 2 different search techniques. One is basic search and advanced search using JQL. So basic search is very simple. You will be just doing drag and drop or selecting the field names and values within the drop down. Advanced search using JQL, that is using your text box. There will be a text box where you will be keying in or typing in the exact query, like project equal to project name, and within bracket you can say issue types in. That will be looking into. So once you will do the demonstration, you will able to find out how exactly this is working. And once your search results comes up, within the search result we can actually play with that search result area. We can have 2 different views. One is a list view, one is a detail view. List view will be line by line and detail view will be all the issues name. Once you'll click on it, it will show the details of it. So we can also get a demonstration of that as well. Okay, let's jump into Jira and find out what exactly we are talking about. We already have covered the navigations within Jira, so that you might have, if you have watched that video, you know how to reach to the search or filter area. We'll do that once again over here. So let's jump into our Jira software. So this is one of the Jira instance, and in this Jira instance we are having all the menus that we discussed. To go to a search and issues filter, you can see there are multiple options. If you want to search for issues, you can click on here issues and filters. Once you clicked here, it will take you to all the saved filter over here, and it's show you a detailed view what we talked about there. So this particular detailed view is this one where you have list of all the issues, and once you'll click on it, it will show that this view. But I can anyway move to the advanced search by clicking on that advanced search button, and this is what it shows. This is the query we have. Now you still can switch to the basic search. So this is your basic search where you can actually select different criterias, and you can select what exactly you want to look for. So for an example, I want to search all stories for project team legends. So what I will be doing is I will be selecting project over here, and type I'll just select stories, and status is all. But what I want is I want show me all the user stories that is it is not yet assigned. So I'll create not assigned or unassigned, and if I search it, it shows me all the result. Magically what happened is it's create the same JQL for that. If you switch to JQL, you can see this is the JQL is already prepared. So if you are good with JQL, you can write it here, or if you are comfortable more on selecting the data from here, you can do that in this particular view also, in the basic search also. Now sometimes what happened is you want to look for some field that is not over here, so you can click on plus more. It shows all the fields that you have in Jira, and you can take any of them. So for an example, I want to do something on my labels, so I can say labels, or I can search labels is groomed for an example. So this is all the stories that comes up as groomed. If I switch to JQL, I can see my JQL is also have changed over here. Now one of the JQL that I want to create is I can create or remove everything, or I can do some changes over here. So I can say project in team legends comma Agile Digest for an example. This is 2 projects I have for now, and if I click on search, it will showing me everything from there. And if I switch back to my advanced search, you can see everything also have changed here. Now sometime what happens is you want to make little complex query, that time this advanced search will not work. So for an example, if I am saying okay, projects in this and issue types, right now I am typing issue types, it shows you the IntelliSense also, so that you can click it here if you forget it. Issue types in story, so far this is easy, this is good, it shows all the stories from here. But what I want stories from team legends and other issue types from the another project, that is Agile Digest Consulting. So I will be writing my query differently. Project equal to let's say team legends and issue types issue type equal to story. This is one query, and I am mentioning or. So whenever I will be using or in the advanced search, it will create a problem, so you will not be able to do that through the in the basic search you will not be able to do with the basic search. Or project equal to, I am saying let's say Agile Digest Consulting and issue types in standard issue type, or yeah, so standard issue type is everything that's everything on the bottom layer. So below epic and above the subtask. I am giving the bracket to segregate how this or will apply. I will click on enter and it will give me the result. Now you can see the switch to basic is now disabled because this is Jira is unable to convert this query to that basic search drop down because we have used an OR criteria here. So this is how you will be making your filters, and this is the search result. Now within the search result, whatever you have, you know, this is what I have currently. I don't have any labels for all of them, but I can still say, okay, just show me the labels if you have some data or whatever the criteria you can want to do, or whatever the criteria you want to make your filter to get the desired result. Now once you are done, this is the search result. To look into the search result, I always minimize this window so that I can get a maximum views, and there are two views of search result. One is all the columns what I have, and another is I can select. So before I select the columns, let's switch to another view, and this is a detailed view and this is a list view. Right now what you are looking into, that's the list view. If I click on detailed view, you can see the same results, only the name here, and wherever you are clicking you can actually change over here. So if you want to do some manual changing on all the stories that you have filtered, you can click one stories here, you can change the data, then you can click another stories here and you can change the data. So that way you can do very quickly. Or if you want to look into the details view story by story within your filter result, this detail view is better. Now again I'll switch to a list view. Within a list view, there may be some columns that you want to add that is not there. How you will be doing is, so you will be adding the columns from here, what you want to see. So for an example, I don't want to see labels, I will uncheck that. I don't want to see this remaining work or reporter or priority. For an example, I'm just unchecking it so that you can actually visualize how it is coming. So once I'll be doing that, you can see only these many informations are coming. Over here, what I want is, I want that this original estimates should come somewhere else instead of this location. So I can move this to any particular result. So this is original estimations. So now I realize, no, original estimation is not working here. Let's remove it here. At least add the epic if there is anything, so that I can, it will be better for me. So I'll select epic and I'll say the epic name, done. Whatever you add, it's by default comes at the end, but you can still drag and drop it here. So as of now, none of the stories are mapped with any of the epic, seems like, so will not be showing any data. But what I can do, I still want to see some of the story points, what exactly the story points that stories have. So I can select story points, and story point is here, so I can move it here. So this is how you can actually do your movement from the column perspectives. So we have two views. One view, we are looking into the list and find out what are the total number of results, and if you actually wants to give a ranking, you can say order by, order by is already here. So this is the search result is already labels equal to groomed, and order by this data actually came up. So I will again change it to project equal to, let's take team legends. This is all what is coming. Now if I want to show me in the subtask level. So when you use issue type, so once you will start exploring, there are multiple field names, they work differently. For an example, they already have a function called standard issue type and subtask issue type. So if you just want to look into the standard issue type, what you will be writing is, and issue type in issue type type in, you will start the bracket, it will show you all the issue types, or there are two functions, standard issue type and subtask issue type. I'll select the standard issue types from this project, and it will be showing me all the standard issue types over here. So it will not showing me any of the subtask issue types. And over here also you can add one filter for labels, or you can find out where story point, STORY, so where doesn't work, sorry, and story points equal is empty. So here I am not using equal to, because I need to find out where the story point is empty. If I hit enter, it will show me all these stories where the story point is empty. I know that for epics, these are the 4 or 5 epics I have, I will not be having any story points for them. For example, now if you want to have some epic points, you can have that, but for this example, let's assume these two stories I want to identify. So instead of standard issue type function, I will say story. Right, hit enter. These are the two stories that I want to change. Now if I am doing a backlog refinement session, now I can quickly select this one. I'll talk about all of this. Once it is done, I'll update the story point if it is in this particular screen. We'll talk about if that story point is not available in the screen, how we can add that. I can click on edit also if you want to make some changes that is not visible in the screen, and you can find out if the story point is here, which sprint it is working for, or you can do a sprint planning from here also by moving one story by story to the particular sprint. Okay, and if you want to change the priority or any kind of modifications you want to do. Now if you are actually working on your Jira, you may not be able to see this particular view because this is an old view I have configured. I'm just changing it to the new view so that you can just get a feel how it looks like. This is the place where I am actually switching it. If I click on this particular your profile icon and click on settings, it will show me that lab settings is the old one or new one. So this is, I have disabled it, Jira Labs. If I enable it, it will show me the new view. Now once I am done, if I go back to my all projects or the filters that I am actually working on, let's go back to there and we'll look into that particular area, issues and filters, search issues. If I click on search issues, it will take me to the same screen, and it will be having a little different view. If you compared with the previous one, now this view has little change. I don't have all the buttons, the appearance has changed. I am more comfortable with the previous view, but I am just showing you in case you are familiar more with the new view, how you will be doing it. So the same over here, your filter criteria is there. You can switch to basic over here. You can change your views to list or detailed view over here, and you can add columns in the same way. Only thing is, if you are into a new view and detailed view, then your appearance on the detail sections will be something different, and this is your filter result. Once you're done, once you are happy with your filter that okay, this is giving me the right result, and you want to save it as a filter so that you can refer it later, how you will be doing it. So let's switch to JQuery and create a quick filter that I'm saying okay, project is equal to let's say team legends, and issue types is equal to story. Yeah, let's take that, and user story point is empty. So this is what I am actually giving it, EM is empty, I have hit enter. It shows me the result. It will be showing 2 stories. As of now there are 2 stories under this project, is not yet groomed or doesn't have the story points. So I'll save as saying team legends no story point. That's the filter name. I'm just giving a random name, so that once you have saved this filter, you can see this filter is somewhere available here. Team legends, where does that go? Yeah, this is the one, that filter I have saved. Now at this point of time, this filter is only available to you because you have created it for yourself and you have not shared with anyone else. I'll close this 2 tab because I'll be using something else. Now what I'll be doing is I'll be open the same Jira instance and I'll try to create one dashboard using this filter. Let's try to see how we can do that. So I'll go to dashboard. Let's create a new dashboard. I'll click some of the dashboard that is already there, but I'll just ignore it. I'll just create a new dashboard. I can save the dashboard as well, but what I wanted to show you over here is what I wanted to show you is how you can use a filter within your dashboard. So team legends dashboard, where I will start with blank and I'm not sharing with anyone at this point of time. So I'll just create the dashboard and I'll add up gadgets, the first gadgets. This is your blank dashboard's layout. You can actually edit a layout like how many columns you want, 1 columns or 2 columns. Let's begin with this 2 columns, the default one, that is this one is selected, and I will start a new gadgets. If you have filled these 2 gadgets, you can add gadgets from here also, from this button. I am just adding a new gadgets and I am saying okay, show me all the gadgets related to Jira. I'll click on Jira and this is I need to click on this load all gadgets, so it will be loading all the gadgets, and I'll select some of the gadgets that will be useful for me. So this is one of the filter result. You can use that or you can use it for some other gadgets as well. So I can say okay, issue statistics. I'll use this issue statistics and filter result. So filter results will be directly show the result of the filter within your gadget, but you can still use that filter for any other gadgets, and I'll be using these gadgets. So I'm just using these 2 gadgets and let's see how these 2 gadgets work out. So this is the issue statistics. I can move the issue statistics over here and filter over here. So for every gadgets, once you create it, you first need to give some settings over here. So I can say team legends no story point, and this is what I wanted to see, and if I save it, you can see the result over here. So this is the 2 stories without story points. This is one of my gadgets, and over here also I can select. So no filter or project selected. I can select a filter or I can select a project, or I can actually select story point, team legends, team legends no story point. This is the filter that I have selected, and I can say assignee by or you can say status. This is how I want to check my so I can is okay, status was not part of my filter. No, this is here. Okay, and just save it. So it will show some data on how many of them are in to do issues. These are no story points, but they are still in to do. It will be something alarming if there is no story points and your organization is following story point very religiously and the stories are in progress, then it may be alarming for you. So this is just a sample where you can actually create dashboard by giving your filters. This is whatever the filters you have created. But now you know that you can still share a filter, share a dashboard to your entire team. You can make it as public. So if I do that, if I make this that okay, make it as public, instead you can do it through a group, you can assign it to all the project member or any logged in user, or you can make it public. So I have make it public and I'll update that. Now this dashboard is public, but the problem will be whoever will be accessing this dashboard, they will not be able to see any data because your filter whatever you have created, you have not given rights to look into this filter anyone. So how you will give the rights? You can click on details and there is a edit permission. So if you click on edit permissions, you need to share the filter as well. At the same way, you can make it as public, add it and save it. So once you have make the permissions of your dashboard and filter the same way, you will able to share the dashboard with data coming from a filter to a public audience. So this is how you will be making your queries, you will be making your detailed view, you will be making your dashboards from the filter, you can share them. There is one another way of searching. If you are searching issues, this is the way, but if you are searching something else, so for an example, if you click on this blue button search, let me show you once again. If you click on this search icon, it shows the recent issues and everything, but at the bottom if you see, there are some other options also shows. It asks you want to search for issues, boards, project, filters. So let's try to search for the filters that we have created. So for an example, if I click on filters, it will show me all the filters over here and you can just search the filters that you have created, because if there are multiple filters, it will show you what access it has. So this is the filters that we have created and you can share it or you can assign it to someone else. If a filter is shared to the entire team, then anyone can look into that. If so for an example, you are another member of this Jira instance, but I have not made it public or shared with any other groups that you are assigned to, then you will not be able to see it. So that's how the filter works. Similarly, if you want to search for board, so you will click over here and you can select whatever the boards you have and you can search them from here. So this is very small amount of boards, so it's very easy, but once you have 100 boards, if you are working on a large organizations where everyone is working on some board, you can search it over here. So you can select all board or scrum board or next gen board, you can make a categorize from there. So this is the different areas where you can search board, issues, projects and people. You can search people also, but that's most of the time we don't need it, but if you still need it, you can do it. So this is one sections where we can do our filters, we can save our filters, we can search for any ways that we want to do for, and one area where you can use this field that will be covering sometime later also, but I am just going giving you a quick instance. For an example, if you are creating a board or managing a board, all board works on a filter, and if I go to this particular project, if you have the admin rights to that particular project, then you will definitely able to do that. So if I look into the active sprint, there is, I am not sure if there is any active sprint or not. There is no active sprint as of now, but once there will be active sprint, you will be seeing their cards and everything. But if I go into the board settings, this board generates from a filters, and that is this filter project equal to TC and issue type into standard. This is a customized board that I have created, but still if you want to change it, you can edit the filter query. You will only able to do it if you have the rights to do it, if you are the admin or if you are the owner of the group. And if I want to edit filter query, it will take me over here and you can actually make any change and save it. So this is how you will be making this filter is actually working for all of your areas in Jira, like board, dashboard, your filter queries or reports. In multiple reports also you can use that. We'll cover that once we'll be covering our reporting section. Now one tips when you are copying one Scrum board to another Scrum board, it takes from the same filter. So if you want to show two different sets of data in two Scrum board, then you need to change the filter. But if you just change the query of a filter, it will change for both the board. So let's not talk about that right now. We'll be covering that when we'll be doing research on Scrum boards, how we can manipulate that. So far I believe you got a fair idea how filter works in Jira. Let's go back to the presentations. This is what we have covered. So let's have a quick recap. Search for issues, save your search, share your search results, email the search results. We'll look into that quickly. Search results in a dashboard and reports, search and execute bulk update, and search and export. So search and export, that will be covering in a while. So because there is another sections we have where we'll be doing our export section. So this is there are a couple of areas that we need to cover into. Okay. So what we have missed here is email the search result is not that complex. I'll go back to some of the search result. I'll go back to my filters. And my filters was, I can actually search for team legends, no story point. This is the filter I had created. I will go to that filter directly, and over there you can actually share that via email. So if you click over here, it will be showing you this is not for you, this is the share one. So share, once you click on share, it will ask the name of the name or email. So if you know someone is working within your project, you can select their name. I am forgetting, so you can select someone who is actually part of your team member and share with them. So this is how you will be sharing your filters, and they will get an email notifications and they will able to see that email. Okay, this is so far issues and filters that we are talking about. That export will be covering next. The next topic what we'll be doing is we'll be doing some bulk update or bulk operations. So let's try to understand the steps of bulk update. Whenever you select multiple stories to do a bulk update, there are a few steps that we need to follow, and those steps are: we'll choose issues. What are the issues we'll be making the bulk update to? What change we'll be doing? So in the choose issues, it will show all the result from your search result, and you still have select all from here, or you select few of them. Once you have selected the issues, you need to go for choosing the operations, what change you want to make. So if you select the operations, it will show you want to edit the issues, you want to move the issues to some other project, you want to make the transitions of those issues from one workflow to another. Transitions will understand how workflow work in later videos, but these are the different issues. If you want to delete all the issues, if you want to start watching issues, stop watching issues, we can do that. And after that, we'll talk about what operations we'll be doing. So for an example, once you have selected edit issues or change issues. So if I look into this, if I have selected edit issues, now in the operation details, this is the what operations you are doing. I want to edit the issues. Now what changes you want to make, that will be the operation details. Okay, in the operation details, this is what you will be talking about, what the field values we want to change. And finally, once you are done, it will ask for confirmation. Okay, this is the all changes it will be happening. You can explore it yourself, but I will be showing you one demonstrations of those two filter results we have. So let's try to look into these two filter results. So these are the two filter results. What I'll be doing is I'll select a bulk update, and but for an example, I want to make a label for those that this needs to be groomed or ready for grooming. So this is a choose issues. It shows me all the results. So whenever you are moving multiple stories, you are merging projects, you can do those activities, selecting all the stories from one project, and you can choose the issue. So I have selected all needs to be applied. and I will be marking as something that you can observe as a bulk update. So as of now, instead of 2, it looks very silly, but if you are having 100 records as your result, bulk update is very good for making one attempt to change everywhere. So choose operations, and over here I am actually selecting, okay, I will be editing issues. You can select move issues if you want to move it from one project to another project, or one issue types to another issue types. If you have created, for an example, user stories, out of that, out of 100 user stories, you realize, okay, 30 is user story, I want to create a different issue types called technical spike, and I want to convert them. So move issues is the only place. So what I will be doing is, I will select the edit issues. Now it will show me the operation details, what operations or what changes I want to make. So I don't want to change the issue type over here, I don't want to change the priority. What I will be changing is, I will be changing a new label. So replace all with this new label, say not groomed. This is one, okay, not, I cannot give a space, so I have to give not underscore groomed. This is one label that I am adding, and I will be change the flag to embedded. So it will be turned as flagged, that we need to look into wherever you are looking into. Now this is something changed to groomed, is change is ready. These are all custom fields that I have, but let's do with this whatever I have done. I will be clicking on next. So what are the 3 changes I have done? It will show me a summary. It's coming. So these are the change: is ready change to no, labels replace all with no groomed, and flag change to impediment. See, this is what the 3 changes we have, and that it will impact these 2 user story. Are you sure? I says okay, confirm. Once it is done, it will run a progress bar if you have a huge number of data, but if it is small, it will be done quickly, and I will say okay, I acknowledge the change. Then later I will look into the same filter about the changes, if it is done or not done. So to look into that filter, again I will come to the same filter. This is the same filters what I have, and this time I will move to the list view, and in the list view I can see these stories have labels. No, the flagged, you can see those are impediments. It shows these are impediments right now, and if I add the columns as labels, you can see that labels will show not groomed. So these are the labels that I have. This is bulk updated. And the third change what I had made was, what was the third change? I have changed it to impediments, labeled, and is ready. So if I look into is ready, is ready is another custom field that I had created for some of the other videos. It says no. So this is how you will be doing your bulk update. And if I look into this particular area, this is the 4 steps. What you need to do is you need to have your own Jira instance where you can try your all the learning that you have done. We'll do one round of bulk update once again when we are doing a import of data. So we'll look into how we are importing. The next topic what we'll be talking about, import and export. So first we'll be talking about import, how we can import and how we can export. So import, so importing issues. If you are in Jira products, if you are in Confluence, you can import a Confluence space or plan your Confluence server to cloud migrations. We are not talking about that import or export right now. What we'll be covering right now for the import, how we can import multiple issues, for export, how we can export multiple issues. So let's try to do the Jira import. So to do the Jira import, these are the 4 steps. Similarly, what we had on the bulk update, here also we have the 4 steps. We'll set up Then in the setup we'll select a file, we need a CSV file to do the import. Then we'll be doing the settings. So this is a basic settings for which projects you want to create it, and these are the default sets. Let the file encoding UTF as 8, whatever is default, let it be there. Then we'll talk about the map field. So we'll be mapping your Excel field and the Jira fields, and once you have done it, you will say okay, this is what the data is coming up to. This is the data it will be coming up to, and I'll click on begin import, or I can validate before the import, and then we'll able to do it. And once you are done, then your Jira import will be done. So let's I believe you so far now understood these are the 4 steps: setup, settings, map fields and map values, and then begin import and validate. Let's try that in our project. So what we'll be doing, I'll go back to my the same search screen. You have the options to import or export. So if I click on over here, there will be options for import issues from CSV. If I click import issues from CSV, before I click the import, let me show you the projects, how many user stories or how many issue types or issues we have in our project, so that we can realize okay, it actually have imported. By default, as per the default settings, it will import only 250 records I believe at one go. I'll go into Team Legends and look into their current backlog to find out how many user stories or issues they have on their backlog. So if I click on that, okay, there are very few. This is 2 stories in the sprint. The sprint is not yet started, and only TC up to TC 20 or 28, I think 34 is the highest one that I can see the number. Now I'll be importing it. So I'll choose a file. I already have a ready-made file, and before I go to the ready-made file, let me okay, I need to find out where exactly I have saved it, but I believe I have somewhere over here. So this is story1.csv. Let me before open, let me show you what we have in that file, and I can, how can I open it? So let's open it from here first, and so that I can show you. So I'll be doing this story1.csv. This is a CSV file. I can open it in Excel, and I'll just show you what do I have over here. So I have a story title, a story that is I'll be using this story as my title. I'll ignoring the story title because I have made some manipulations in this CSV. Then I have how to demo. This is an acceptance criteria, but I don't have the acceptance criteria. Okay, so this is the story. I'll keep this as a title. This story is this one. Let me just change summary. I'm just changing it here so that we can reflect it there. This is description. Oops, DESCRIPTION. This is my description, and after the descriptions I have how to demo, that is your acceptance criteria. This is something there, and now I actually have merged the acceptance criteria and the demonstration, because if you don't have a custom field for acceptance criteria in Jira, then you need to combine it within your Excel. So if I look into this, this is the acceptance criteria and how it is actually coming. So based on whatever I have written, it's coming like this, and then this is the full description. So this is your description plus the acceptance criteria, somehow it is coming. Estimation is the story point, and the feature group it is coming. So what I will be doing, I'll use the full description and the summary and the estimation. These 3 fields I will be using. I'm saving it. This is the story 1, yes, and I'll close it now. Now I'll use this story 1. So this is my Jira 1. Where is that gone? This story 1 I'll open in my this particular field. So this is right now is getting imported, and the next column it will be asking for make the settings for all the UTF and what date format that it will be asking, but I will be just keep it as it is, but I will select a project under which projects I want to import it. I will select the team legends that we are actually doing all these practices. I will click on next. So once I have clicked on next, it's right now analyzing the data I have in my CSV file. So once it is done, it asking me what are the fields you want to map to. So I have full descriptions that I will be mapping with description, and the summary or title I will be mapping with summary in my Jira, because summary is the title in Jira. I will be mapping this one, and estimate I will see if I can do it with story points. By default, I think this story point is STO. Okay, Jira field by default that story point is not appearing right now. I think I have not made that. There is a field configurations we'll talk about. Within that field configuration for this project, the story point may not be there, and that's why it was not coming. So I'll leave it over here and don't map this field. I am just importing these two field, and let's see how does that go. So I am just importing a full description. So for an example, if you are migrating from Rally to Jira, so you can export everything from Rally, all the stories that needs to be done, because in Agile we primarily focus on the remaining amount of work. Whatever is done, that is fine. But to do that, what I will be doing is I will be just importing these two fields, and I'll click on next after selecting these two fields. So there are some full description and summary will be imported. It's doing some processing. Once the processing is done, it shows okay, this is how the import will be for all the records. So I'll scroll to the down, and I, instead of validate, I'll say okay, begin import, because validate again will take some time. You can click on validate also if you are not sure whether this import will be okay or not. But for now, I think I know this import will work, because most of the time it's I do whenever on my Jira training, I do the same file for training them how import works. So I believe this will work now, and you still have a chance to stop the import. So let's give it some time to reach to 100%. Okay, so it's done. 0 projects and 250 issues imported successfully, because we have not imported any project. You can still import projects if you have projects on a field, but for now when you are importing projects, then you need to do it from the admin sections. When we are talking, we will talk about project administrations, we will look into that. Then current Jira settings allow only to 250 records. The CSV had multiple records. Now I can actually this Jira, as per the current settings, it allows you 250 issues. So by default all Jira have that default settings. You can change it from your admin. Now I can click on check created issues from here, or I can click or refresh this page. So if I refresh this page, I will able to see. So earlier we had TC34 was the highest number. Now I can see I have multiple stories. Now what I have realized, okay, I have not selected or given them the instruction. Those are all issue types. So what they have created as task. What I want is, I want all of them to be convert as a story. What I will be doing? I will be doing a filter once again. So let's go to filters, and I'll click on issues here in this particular area, and just observe we'll be doing a bulk update, which we are changing the issue types for multiple records. Now what I'll be doing is, I'll be saying project project is equal to team legends, and issue types is equal to task. I will be having close to 250 records. Yes, and I'll do a bulk update. Just remember, for bulk update also there is a limit of 1000 records at one time. So if you have below 1000 records, you can do it one go, otherwise you need to do it in multiple steps. So now I'll do a bulk update for all these 250 issues. I'll click on this dot, I'll do a bulk change all 250 issues. What I'll be doing, I'll be converting them to user story instead of task. So I'll select all, then I'll choose the operations, move. Now I will be moving them to a different issue types within same project. So I'll move issues, I'll click on next, and it's appearing over here. I'll keep the same project, but I select story as their issue types and click on next. So it will be analyzing, because it's just analyzing if the story and task have the same workflow. If the status is different, then it may ask for something. For story, I had an acceptance criteria that was mandatory. So what I will be saying is, so story and acceptance criteria was mandatory, that's why it was not coming. So I'll be saying as of now 0, and part of description DSCFTION, and if there is any already there, you can actually put it over here and click on next. There is, when we want to, there is very common questions that can we, instead of creating new issues, can we update bulk from outside CSV? Yes, that is possible, but that can possible from the admin sections. Not everyone can do that. So I'll be just updating this one. My target is to show you how you can do a bulk update by moving from one issue type to another issue types. In the bulk update, if you do your explorations and try by importing your CSV where you have story points, where you have acceptance criteria, you have defined your, so here the acceptance criteria and story point I had made it as mandatory. That's why it was showing me it's not need to be mandatory. I was just doing some demonstration, that's why it's there. So all the issues is now converted. Now what you can see, what I have changed the acceptance criteria, that will also be a bulk up, might have done a bulk update, not might, I am sure that that have done. So let's go to the team legends and projects. So I'll be go to the projects, and within this project I'll go to this particular projects, and we can see how many projects or how many stories. Right now we had 250 new tasks, those might have converted to stories. So see, all of them are stories. If I click any of them, you can see the details. This is the descriptions, this is the title that have, and the acceptance criteria, it's already written, part of the descriptions that we have updated. And story point, if there is some story point, this is by default coming 0. You can still have, once you are having the grooming, you can have that story point. Or once we are uploading, if you provide the issue types also, then also we can upload it with the story points and acceptance criteria. If we are enabling those fields, that can also work. So this is a very high level of make you understand how you can do a bulk import. And similarly, if we are talking about import, this is how you will be doing. When you are exporting, it's very simple. You can export it to print list, print details, or export to XML, export to RSS, export RSS with comments. I'm not looking into or talking about more of them. Export Word or export Excel. So most important that you use is export Excel CSV all fields and export Excel CSV current fields. For many manual reporting in Excel, many graphs you want to generate, or you want to migrate it to some other tool, or you want to do any permutation combinations reporting matrices, or whatever you want to do, you can still do using this Excel. So let's look into the filter criteria what we had and how we can actually make it. So I'll again go back to my filter board where I was actually looking into the filters, and my filter name was this one. and this is where you have. So once you will click on this export, you can export into these many options. CSV all fields means all fields Jira has. Export Excel CSV current fields, that means this will be created for only the columns that you are looking into. So if I click on export as current field, this is what it is exported, and if I open this Excel, this is what it came up, all the fields that I had that came up here. So this is how it's you can export and do your data. Now if I see, okay, this is because very easy, if you can actually remove this filter, you can export all these issues under project team legends and see the number of records, 289 records I have right now. If I export to CSV, just look into that, it will be the CSV. This is what it is exported. If I open it, it's opening and I have all these records. Now here it's actually having the issue type, stories, and the IDs, summaries, whatever you want. If you want descriptions, you can add within your search result. Where is Jira? If you add the columns as description, it will come up over here for your export. Now there is one area over here you might have observed that there is create a dashboard gadget under export. So if you create it, it will create a gadget with this filter result. That is actually not very much useful. So where do you want to add, for which gadget, it will ask you, and you can actually create your gadgets within that. Average summary, time in status, these are the different gadgets already there. So instead of creating it here, you can create it within the dashboard. I am not going into the dashboard creations right now, but you can understand this is all you can do with the filters area. So this is the topics that we actually have targeted for this particular video, is looking into filtering, and save your filter, use your filter at different places, import, export, bulk update, that's all. So I think that will be all for today. We'll connect you with another video next time with a new topic within Jira or something else. Stay tuned. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye. Good night.